Okay, so Yashukayach, everyone for joining. We're here at Perek Tes of Tanya. Since we're in my house, maybe later we'll just do a tour. I could show you the Biurim on Tanya. So I don't have to bring a copy each week. I could show you the dedicated space. So as mentioned last week, Perek Tes is the start of the new color theme in Rabbi Shes's map on Tanya, because we finished the anatomy of the Nefesh Alikis has been completed, and now goes the next section, which possibly we should refer to as the battle, but the Alter Rebbe really comes back now to explain the 5 categories. In the beginning, in Perek Aleph, the Alter Rebbe asked, what is a Beinani? And he brought the Gemara says there are Hey Chalukas, Tzadik v'Tovle, Tzadik v'Rali, Rosh v'Tovle, Rosh v'Rali, being now the Alter Rebbe is coming to present them. And that's what's going to happen. In Perek Yud, he's going to present the Tzadikim. In Perek Yud Aleph, he's going to present the Rishoyim. And in Perek Yud Beis, the Beinani. So this is the presentation, right as he starts. Perek Tes. V'hine. Mokim Mishkan Nefesh Abamis. Where does the Nefesh Abamis rest? Where does it dwell? The Nefesh Abamis Shemeklipas Neida B'Chodesh Yisrael. Hu Belev. Meaning the Nefesh Abamis is everything the Nefesh Abamis wants is impulse. Everything the Nefesh Abamis wants is driven, it's motivated by emotion.
I just thought of something. You said impulse. Like an impulse buy, that's a Nefesh Abamis. If you buy something too fast or you do anything too fast, that's just your Nefesh Abamis, even though you think you're doing something smart. Just thought of that.
Yashukoyach, indeed.
I think that was an impulsive comment.
Hu Belev. B'Cholol Smali.
I know, it takes one to know one.
B'Cholol Smali. It's in the left ventricle. Shehu Malei Dam. The Rebbe. So this idea about the right side and the left side, the way the Alter Rebbe presents it here, is that the left side of the heart is full of blood, and the right side of the heart is empty. So the Rebbe speaks about it like in a very specific way, that the blood comes in the right side of the heart, and then it gets passed into the lungs where it absorbs the oxygen. And from the lung it goes into the left side of the heart, and that's where it gets pumped into the rest of the body.
Is that what the Rebbe says?
No, the Rebbe speaks about it. So he says the reason why we refer to the left side of the heart as being full of blood, it's because it's ready for the blood. It's the blood that's ready to go out and give chayus.
Oh, so that's the distribution.
Right. So that's
it's oxygenated blood.
Oh, and on the right is the depleted. That's the empty idea. So belev b'cholos moli shehu moli dam uksiv, like we said in Perek Aleph, ki adam hu nefesh. What is he trying to say? That the nefesh achiyunis is its place is in the heart, and in the heart that's the blood. That dam hu nefesh. V'lachem kol ha'tayvus v'espirus v'kaz v'dumeyan hein belev. All the negative traits that we learned about in Perek Aleph, where do they originate? They all originate in passion, in desire, not in intellect. We'll learn about it soon, that taiva, in other words, we say the Nefesh Abamis has a series of taivas. It likes to express rage. It also has taivas achila. In other words, there's different taivas. So the pleasure-seeking aspect of the Nefesh Abamis, that's really the primary function. The others are like the laziness and the depression and the jokes, right? The dvarim betelim. The Nefesh Abamis itself really he's a taiva seeker. That's the chaymer of it. And then it also has other elements that are supportive.
Why does the Nefesh Abamis want taivas?
Because Mayim,
It's the antithesis of God.
yeah, it's the self, yeah. Because
Self. You
because
want to feel good yourself.
Yeah.
because Mayim
It's
is,
separate from God. There's a separate existence.
but Taiva is the
Yeshus, yourself. I need to feel good. And
Yeah.
the Nefesh Elokis says, I want to be God. I want to be with God.
It's a fix.
he explained that Mayim matzmichim kol minei tainuk, and Mayim is the primary ingredient. So that's why that's the Mashiach. I know I'm giving you a mechanical
It all
answer.
goes back to the oxygen.
Well, it goes back to sugar.
You're saying water, oxygen?
Water, oxygen, O2, the blood. It's the oxygen which is really the blood, which nourishes the body. Because oxygen without blood is not really.
But the blood is a liquid.
Right.
So. yeah,
No,
it's
the
not
taiva part is the
Yeah,
Yesod
it's-
HaMayim. Yeah. Now the Alter Rebbe continues. Umei halev hein mispashtes b'chol haguf.
It's H2O.
Yeah. From the heart, the passion originates in the heart, and then it goes out to the rest of the body. In other words, the body, it needs the body to help it be memala taiva. It needs the hands and feet. V'gam oila lameach shebereish. The nefesh abamis also finds its way up into the brain.
So here it's really like separating the nefesh of Hamas from the guf.
Yeah, the nefesh abamis is a spiritual.
spiritual.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's oila lameach shebereish. Lach shev v'lahadar b'hem v'lischakem b'hem. That, and I remember when we were learning Tanya as kids, the Mashpia said that the taivas get an aliyah. When the taivas go up to the mind, you're elevating them. Previously, they were just an impulse, and now you're like giving them justification. You know.
Start rationalizing.
So, but really, that's not what the Alter Rebbe is saying. The Alter Rebbe is saying practically, you have to figure out how to get what you want.
Yeah.
You're using the brain. And he says, Kamesha Hadam, just like the blood itself, that Mekere Belev, Ume'elev Mispashet L'chol Oivorim, right, it goes out into the rest of the body, V'gam Oilelem Lahamayach Shebereish, and also into the brain, and also in a refined state in the brain. Mokim Mishka Nefesh Elikis, on the other hand, where is the Nefesh Elikis? Where is its home base? Hu b'meichin shebereish. Everything, the entire experience of the Nefesh Elikis is a mindful experience. All the midas of the Nefesh Elikis start in the Mayach. It's necessarily so. Even those emotions that are beteva of the Nefesh Elikis, they also have to go through the Mayach. Umishom, from the mind, mispashetes l'chol evarim, also, v'gam belev b'chol hayimani she'im beidam. So over here, v'gam belev, he doesn't say that it's mispashet belev. It seems that there are like two sources. There's a source in the mayach, and there's an aspect of the lev that's also a source for the nefesh elikis. It's a different. The emotions are different, so they're not in the same place. They're not both in the Cholol Asmali. There's a separate place in the heart with the Nefesh Elikis. So, the simple meaning of the pasuk Leiv Chacham Liyaminoi means the hemshech of the pasuk is Leiv Ksil Ismailoi. The simple meaning is that a wise man, his heart leads him to the right, to making the right decisions. That's the simple shot. The Alter Rebbe is teaching, Leiv Chacham Liyaminoi, that the Chacham, the part of his heart that activates him, is the right part of the heart. Vehi Avas Hashem, Kerishpe. I would say a comment, but I'm on camera, so it's a shayla. Anyway.
You're so jealous.
Vehi, no, it's not.
It's on Shabbos. You say anything you want.
No,
Vihi avas Hashem. Vihi avas Hashem kirish beishal heves. Yeah, what's the emotion? It's avas Hashem, like flaket, yeah, flaming avas Hashem. That's mislaheves belev maskilim, right? That boils or in the heart of those who understand, and he says maskil, mavin, and mizboinin. It's chachma bin adas, v'daita masher b'meicha, b'dvarim ha'ma'irim misa'ava, who use their intelligence to awaken in themselves a deep sense of love to Hashem. From this position, the love to Hashem is a love from the distance, and that's why it's a love of yearning, and it's a love like fire. It's mislahiv, it's a flacker in the fire. The Alter Rebbe continues v'chein. The Alter Rebbe brings a second example for an emotion of the Nefesh Elikis, which is in the Tiferes area. And in the Mefarshei Tanya, they speak about why the Alter Rebbe brings these two examples, because this one is very much rooted in intelligence. It's very much, it starts from Seichel. I heard from Rabbi Greenglass, so when he speaks about this idea, let's read it inside, and then V'chein simchas levav, the joy, b'tiferes Hashem, in the beauty of Hashem's encompassing opposites. V'hadar ga'oinai. How do you translate hadar ga'oinai? It's also splendor. Kasher einei achacham asher bereishe, when a wise man's eyes, b'meach chachmase ubinase, mistaklim, look out, b'yakara de malka, at the preciousness of Hashem, v'tiferes gedulase, the beauty of Hashem's greatness, the ad ein cheke vein sefer tachlis. So, Rabbi Greenglass, when he speaks about this parak, he says, imagine for someone who understands like Lahavdil, Aristotle called the Eibishter a prime mover. Why? Because if we would understand the movement that's happening up above, the galaxies, all the different things that are moving, and the different directions that they're moving in, and the speeds that they're moving in, and then to realize that they're moving in different directions, and the fact that they don't crash, the whole system, the way each one has it's such a fascinating
precision.
It's so precise. It's so, and it encompasses such vastness that it's incredible. So that's like a tiferes part, the incredible, the koyach of Hashem in holding together all these different galaxies and whatever it is. So that's all a seichel thing. You have to understand and learn and all these different forces. Just like Ava and Tiferes, all the other midas, if a person is going to use his nitzochen to be passionately stubborn about Yiddishkeit, it's all rooted in the mind. Okay, so the Alter Rebbe established that the Nefesh Elikis is in the mind, the right side of the heart, the Nefesh Abam is in the left side. So now a person could say, wait a second, it's beautiful.
So it's saying that the wave doesn't have the ability to have that kind of response? Or
it starts, it's initiated, it follows the brain. It's a hisbeinus.
I thought it follows the heart. It gets.
That's by klippa. By klippa.
Okay, so now what is it? You just said this is the Abba.
The tiferes hisbeinus is about how Hashem. Tiferes is a blend. So in the blending.
Okay, the fact that it's explaining this is in
Yeah,
the Bible.
yeah.
So,
And that's what brings, and that's what the Alter Rebbe's point is. A person may think that Ava, we have a natural inclination for Ava. So who says it's rooted in the Moyach? He says, no, it's all really Ava for Hashem. In the world, there's Ava that's hardwired.
So you're not taking the Ava and you're being misplaining it. Essentially, to begin with, it's in Hispainus.
Right, it says Bainanus, and these Bainanus,
Matures.
it washes over as an Ava. So now the Alter Rebbe is saying, wait a second, if they each have their own locations, the Shalom Yisrael, there's no war. There's no battle. You have your real estate, I have my real estate. It's doch gewaltig. The Nefesh Elikis is in the mind, the Nefesh Abakis is in the lev. Nu, what are we fighting about? It says, we have to recognize, the Pasuk says, Ula'im mil'ayim yamatz. What does it mean? That Hashem, that when Rivka went to ask about what's going on in her belly, so they said, when one king is up, the other king is down. Right? They can't coexist. This is
and
a
also,
competition.
if the heart wants ice cream, the brain has to go get it. Has to figure out how to get it. So they really have to kind of either cooperate or fight each other.
In the same city, that's the problem.
But the depth of it is that there are two nefashos, and they're both fighting over one territory. Ki haguf nikra ir ktana. In Keheles, the body is called a small city. Just like two kings fighting over one city. Each one wants to conquer it. And once they conquer it, to be the kings over the city, what does that mean? They want all the people of the city they're the ones who guide, they inform, they instruct how the people should live. Sarim means even if they don't want it so much, they move away from, they used to do it like this. There's a new government. From now on, we're going to switch this, the drivers we're going to switch the sides of the road. So we're not comfortable. We usually do it like this. But they're going to be Sarim l'mashmaitim, whatever the king is going to order. So kach so too, shtei hanefashos, or likis. Ve'achayunis abam is shemei klippe. The nefesh alikis and the nefesh achayunis nulcham mizu imzu. They're in a constant war, halaguf v'cholei over the body and over the limbs. That's the lashon in the pasuk. In the pasuk where it says the guf nikra ir ktana, so he brings there that like the king who comes and it's a small city with few inhabitants. What does it mean with few inhabitants? With few limbs. That's the Shahoalikis chefts the desire, the inner desire of the nefesh alikis is shetehi levada, that it should be the exclusive leader. Hamishelas olav. It should be the exclusive ruler. Thank you, Mordechai. Uman hi gosay. He's the steering committee. The kol hoivarim yiyu sarim l'mashmaita. All the limbs of the body should follow the lead of the nefesh elikis. Ubetelim etzla, they should be bottled to her. Bottle means that they don't want to do what it wants, but they're bottled. Bottle means that the nefesh elikis, good evening, is stronger. Here, use the Tanya in this one; it'll stay open nicely. Keep turning. Oh, now we got to go back a little bit, right? What does bottle mean? Bottle means I really want to do something else, but you're overpowering me. So I'm bottle. I'm going to do what you want. So ubetelim etzla legamre, and then even more umerkava elo, that there should be no other interests, like complete bittul, a bittul of merkava. Whatever the nefesh elikis wants, immediate. A servant has their own desires, but they're overrun. To be bottle and merkava, that's like the office. I don't have my own interest. Whatever, it's like the people in the early years, they would go to the Rebbe They want to go on shlichus. Where should I go? Wherever the Rebbe tells me I'm going to go. I don't have any city lined up. I don't have any hatzois. Whatever the Rebbe says. Now, so here we're talking about the physical body. The physical body of the person should be available and ready to do every mitzvah that the Nefesh Elikis wants. Now he speaks about, now the Alter Rebbe is going to continue about the ruchnius of the Nefesh Elikis. The Yiyu Levush. The body should also be available, the Eser B'chinei Seha, the Gimel Levusha Hanal. That for the 10 powers of the Nefesh Elikis. So what we learned so far, quick recap, what we learned so far is that the Alter Rebbe told us that the Nefesh HaBahamis is in the heart, the Nefesh Elikis is in the mind, and now he's starting to describe the battle that they have over the body. The Nefesh Elikis wants exclusive rights, and he wants complete rights. He wants the person to be completely dedicated. Sheyislav shu kulam be'ivari aguf. He wants Chachma, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gvura. Every single midah of the Nefesh Elikis should find expression in the body. Vehi aguf kuloi mole mehem levada. Only the Nefesh Elikis should fill the body. V'la yaver zor b'sechem chas v'shalom. Yaver means even to just pass by temporarily. Don't even pass by. The Nefesh HaBahamis should not step foot in the person. The Hainu, what does this mean practically in Avodas Hashem? Klas Moichin Shebereish, the 3 brains, the right brain and the left brain and the prefrontal cortex, or however you want to divide it, the cerebral, all the 3 Moichin, Yiyu Memulayin, should be filled. Mechabat Shebenefesh Elikis. It should be filled with learning about Hashem. What the neshama learns. She chachmas Hashem ubinase. Meaning lehis baining. If a person is not learning in a way of his baininus, they're not using their brain capacity. I'm not talking now about 100%, but of what we're able to access. Lehis baining bigdolase, to think about Hashem's greatness, to meditate on Hashem's greatness, which is essentially asher ad ein cheker ve'ein seif. So as much as we could understand, there's still more to learn. Ulahoylid mehen, and by using your brain, you should use your brain with a purpose. It's not just an academic exercise. It's lahoylid mehen, ayidei adas, through connecting yourself to the ideas, you should develop hayira b'meichei. The first reaction, like we discussed, to the greatness of Hashem is awe. And then upachad Hashem beliboy. The awe is in your mind. Also very, a nice. I heard this from Rabbi Greenglass also. I listened to a shir from him. He says, holy people could also get upset, but they don't get kas. There's a different Hebrew word for it. Kpeda. Kpeda. Right? That's what we use by tzaddikim. We use this expression, kpeda. In other words, someone does something wrong. You're upset by it. You're not angry. There's a word for it. There's room to be upset. Someone
is Lashon Kodesh?
Yeah, it's an Aramaic word. But what's a Hebrew word? Kapdan.
Yeah, makaped.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait.
Kapdan. A kapdan is a person who.
Makpid. I'm makpid.
Yeah.
It's not grudge. It's not some sort of.
Well, I guess maybe it translates as grudge sometimes.
So the way.
No, that's not accurate because tzaddikim don't get grudge.
So the way, right? It's my point is there's a different form. It has a different word. So here, when the Alter Rebbe says there's yiras Hashem, there's awe. Awe is in the mind. Pachad is the feeling of fear. Feeling of fear is in the heart. The example always given is if someone says, if you read on COL or whatever, that there have been attacks on the street. So there's a certain trepidation. But then when you're walking down the street and you see something, then you're afraid. That's different.
Yeah.
That's pachad. So pachad Hashem is believer.
So Pachad is present?
Pochad.
Oh, Pochad, okay.
The Avas Hashem, and then, so that's the yira, and then there's Avas Hashem. Ke'esh be'er b'liba, a deep yearning to be close to Hashem. Ke'rish pei shal hebes. Liyes nichsefa, v'gam kolsa nafshe, that his heart yearns and expires. V'chasheka, v'chafetza, l'davka be'in seif baruch hu, with a real yearning to be close to Hashem. B'chol leiv, v'nefesh, u'ma'oid. So I want to take a moment, even though this is negiyat later, I just want to talk about this for a minute. You know, for many of us, we're afraid to let go of any of the things we enjoy, because we're afraid that then it's going to be a boring life. Right? If I can't eat any more sugar, that's like it's not worth living. You know, like that's a fear. So, and the emes, the truth is it's a very silly, because people who overcome that desire, like who overcome the taiva for sugar, they have so much more life and they're so much more joyful and excited and happy. It's a different type of joy. So what the Alter Rebbe is describing, imagine you come to someone and you say, you can't have any taivas anymore. The Nefesh Elikis, there's no room. He doesn't want to let it shouldn't even pass by. You're like, what a life. It's going to be, what a life of suffering. I don't know if I'm ready to sign up for this. It's terrible. So you'll see the Alter Rebbe is saying, what do you mean? When you're mizbein Elikus, all the emotions that you're experiencing now in Eilam Hazeh, you're going to experience those emotions. You're going to experience joy and pleasure and love. You're going to experience all of that intensely, much more, with much greater intensity than you experience it now. So first, right? That the only difference is that it's going to start in the mayach, but it's going to touch all those. You're going to get the oxytocin. Don't worry. Get high doses of oxytocin. It says the Avas Hashem will be. So he's describing b'chol leiv v'nefesh u'ma'id, me'umka deliba, very deeply felt, in the chol ha'yimani. And now he describes it. Sheyiyeh toichei rotzuf ava, that the inside of his heart will be coated with love for Hashem, completely coated with love for Hashem. Then he says it'll be mole. His heart will be filled with love for Hashem. And then Godush, it'll be overflowing. Like when when you make Kiddush, you're supposed to overflow, right? The love for Hashem will be so bountiful in your heart, it will overflow. The Nefesh Abamis will also feel that love. It will bring iskafia. Yesod hamayim haroyim shaba, the source of temptation in the animal soul will experience temptation for godliness. Shia taivish miklipas noiga. Taivish comes from the mayim royim. L'shanoiso ulahapcha, to transform it. Mitanuge elam hazeh la'avas Hashem, will come to love Hashem. K'meisha kosuv b'chol avavcha. It has two bases. What does that mean? B'shnei yitzarecha, with the nefesh elikis and the nefesh abamis. V'hainu, what does this mean? Sheyale v'yavoy v'yagia, that the person will arrive and attain the level of madregas avarabo. Now, Ava Rabba is not the Ava, love for Hashem, that's passionate like fire. Ava Rabba is like a person there's someone that he loves, but they're far away, right? What do they say? Distance makes the heart fonder. So they're distant from the person they love. Not then when the person comes home. So now you just enjoy their presence. That kind of Ava, that's called Ava Rabba. That's the great Ava. Another name for it is Ava B'Tanugim. It's like, it's love for Hashem that doesn't require, you don't have to do anything. They say about the Middle Rebbe, it says they had Hasidim, that they would go to the marketplace and they were selling vegetables, and standing in the marketplace they had Ava B'Tanugim. They were just in such a state of dveikus to the Eibishter that whatever they were doing it didn't get in the way. They were just intensely connected to Hashem. So that's the level of Ava Rabba, and it's only at that level that the Nefesh HaBahamis becomes transformed.
So it's not like the things don't get in the way. Those things become, they don't see it like it's not what it is to you, to them.
There's no room for it.
They're overcoming all of these physical things on a different level. It's
No,
not like
they're
fighting it every time.
Their dveikus is so
They're
strong.
ignoring it.
Their dveikus is so strong that they don't notice. The
So
other
they're
things.
all they are is they're ignoring. They're completely like.
Yeah, it's like, you listen to a Holocaust survivor talk
The
about.
voice that we're saying here.
No, someone says, "Did you keep Shabbos there?" He's like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you think I knew the day of the week? I was looking for bread. That's it. Like, there's no."
Survive or die.
What are
There's
you
nothing
talking
else.
about? Yeah, the Cholomst. You know what I mean? You're asking the question because you don't understand the context. The Chassidim of the Middle Rebbe, Avos Hashem, everything. It didn't matter what they were doing. They were just in such a state of connection. We have to understand what it means. Understand. We don't have to. Whatever. It's another madrege. When something is truly, there's no one to buzz. You don't want to leave it, huh?
The remote.
We're working on that minion.
Oh. Hey,
Oh, was Herzog.
closer to the minion.
Have you ever been to British Columbia?
Yes. Vancouver?
Well, boy,
Yeah.
we got Tanya
Oh,
for
so
you.
here's a Vancouver
I
time.
knew that was
Nice.
coming.
That one.
Hardcover, so it's a little gringo to keep it open. Yeah. So that's the Ava B'Tanugim. Lis Aneg al Hashem, and it's Me'ein Olam Haba. Olam Haba is a schar. It's like it's a prize. You don't have to do mitzvahs. You don't have to learn Torah. I don't mean you don't have to do mitzvahs. You don't have to learn Torah. What I mean is it's the Ava is not dependent on a performance. Where does the joy take place? It takes place b'moyach. It's in the mind. In other words, you're close. It's not the ava ka'esh, right? The ava ka'esh is a yearning from something that's away from you. Here, it's close to you. Where is it? Close where? In the moyach. In the moyach chochma v'seichel, hamnis aneg, you're actually enjoying Haskalas Hashem v'yediyasei. Your knowledge and your connection with Hashem is present in your mind. Who this joy is bechinas hamayim. This is the yesoid of mayim in the nefesh halikis, and this is referred to in the Zohar as that level of mayim is called oir, and even the origin of oir. Zera oir zarua, like when we say oir zarua la tzadik, shebikudushas nefesh halikis. Hamhapechas letoiv, the mayim of the nefesh halikis, the pleasure of the nefesh halikis, transforms is hamhapechas letoiv as bechinas hamayim shebenefesh habahamis. Shemehem is from the water of the nefesh habahamis. Bo taivis tanuge elam azem betchila. That's where the pleasures came. We turned the page. We're now on page 28, 3 lines from the top. What does he bring from the Zohar? That don't think that the nefesh habahamis is bad through and through. The nefesh habahamis really is a capacity to love. It's a passion. And the Zohar is explaining that you could separate. Right now, the nefesh habahamis only sees material things. So he desires material things. But if we could open the eyes, if we could give him an experience, rather, he's not going to learn, he's going to feel. When the nefesh habahamis will feel such love being experienced by the person, he's like, where'd you get that? What's this about? I want that.
Where do you buy it?
You can't explain it to him because he's not a bar seichel, but he's experiencing that love. When he experiences it, that's when the transformation comes. The Alter Rebbe is going to explain later in Perek Yud that tzadik veraloi, tzadik v'tovloi. Yeah, he says tzadik veraloi. It's like, imagine you're pressing on the gas and you're pressing on the brakes at the same time. Then suddenly both pedals are gas. There's no brakes anymore. The tzaddik veraloi, you keep on getting more edel, but you don't flip. There's a tzaddik v'tovloi is a special position. What happens in that? When you're complete, it's like when you hit the end, suddenly ding, 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 there's a whole new set of prizes. It's only when you're completely pure that you get complete transformation. It's only when you touch Ava B'Tanugim that suddenly your Nefesh Habahamis joins the Nefesh Halikis, and now you have 2 gas pedals. And that's what the Alter Rebbe is talking about right now, that level of tzaddik v'tovloi.
So that's never necessarily accessed by the Beinim.
Right. Here the Alter Rebbe is speaking about tzaddik. He's speaking about what the Nefesh Halikis wants.
Unless it's an E-word.
The Nefesh Habahamis wants, Nefesh Halikis wants complete domination to the level of tzaddik. He spoke about, he said, Ava Aza, and then Ava B'Tanugim. Who has Ava B'Tanugim? A Beinoni does. Okay, so we'll see. He'll bring later that maybe a Beinoni b'shas tefillah.
He gets an E-word.
Yeah.
A booster pack.
How does that happen? By removing the soiled garments, by removing its interest in klippah. There's an expression in the Chovos Halevavos that's brought in Chassidus that Avos Hashem cannot rest in a person that has Ava to Elam Hazeh. That you can't. The 2 loves cannot rest in the person. We're talking about a certain level of Avos Hashem, right? That the Nefesh Habahamis should treat. There has to be a cleansing. So when the Begadim Atzoyim are removed, Sheim Tanugi Elam Hazeh Shumu Lubish Bem. The Nefesh Habahamis is involved in the Nefesh Habahamis in Taivas Elam Hazeh. When you strip away the Taivas Elam Hazeh, that's why Iskafia is so important. and to push for his hapcha. V'chein shar kol hamidus shebalev, not only ava. Here he's talking about avas Hashem, all the midas, all the emotions, every capacity for emotion. Shein anfei ayira va'ava, yul Hashem levada, should be only for elikus, only for godliness.
Here we're already saying that the Nefesh HaBahamis and the Nefesh Elikis is not so far apart. They just grew up in two different sides of town, and they were corrupted.
Right.
He was corrupted. So now, if you bring him back to his original state, then you could work with him.
Yes, Amos. Yeah. Fakert. V'rav tevu is b'koyach shoyer. He has more might.
Yeah.
Now he continues. V'chol koyach hadibur shebepeh. The capacity for speech. And v'amachshava shebemoyach. So these bodily functions, yum muloyim, should be filled. Min levushe hamachshava v'hadibur shel nefesh v'alikis levada. Exclusively of the nefesh alikis. Now, the machshava is mishetetas tamid. Thought always flows. You can't stop thoughts. So we understand that the machshava should be filled with. But why do we say dibur should be filled? Maybe you should be quiet. But remember what I mentioned when we were learning Perek Ches. The living being is translated in Targum Ungulus, Ruach Mamalala. We are called Medaber. Speaking is our birthright. That's what a human being is, a communicator. So the Nefesh Elikis doesn't want you to be quiet. The Nefesh Elikis wants you to talk all day. It should be Mimulayim, it should be filled. You should be saying the whole Tillim 5 times.
Is that why you say women are more spiritual?
That's right.
Right? So it's Lias Machshavas Hashem, V'Teirasei, learning about Hashem and learning Torah in your mind, and Lias Sichase Kol Hayom Le'Pasit Pumim Megirsa. Pashat, not to stop learning for a second. Your mouth should be moving every minute of the day. And then, of course, Kayach HaMaisi, Shebiyadav, Ushara Machivarov, your ability to do, to act. Also, Yeh B'Maisa Mitzvahs Levad. You should be involved all day only doing mitzvahs. Shehu Levush Hashlishi Shel Nefesh Elikis. This is also a garment of the Nefesh Elikis, meaning that the Nefesh Elikis expresses itself in the body. Its third garment is by doing actions of mitzvah. And that's what I should be doing all day. So that's what the Nefesh Elikis wants. Now the Alter Rebbe, so Baruch Hashem, he gave a full page and a half describing what the Nefesh Elikis wants and how he's going to spread itself out in the body, v'chulu v'chulu. Now he says, however, Nefesh Habahamis Shemei HaKlippah, the Nefesh Habahamis, Ritzoyna, its desire is lahipach mamish. Exactly the opposite. Doesn't have to explain too much because we know how it works. And now the Alter Rebbe says that it's l'toiv sa'adam, it's for our own good. Even the Nefesh Habahamis, he's going to bring the mashal of the Zohar HaKadosh. The Nefesh Habahamis itself also wants us to overcome. You know, the person who designed the game wants to see people winning the game. You know what I mean? Imagine someone designed a computer game, no one can get to the second board. You know what I mean? Like that's what's going on. The Nefesh Habahamis itself wants us to be menatzeach, sheyizgaber aleha, that he should overpower it. V'yenatzchenu, he should beat the Nefesh Habahamis. That's what it wants. That's what it was created for. Like the Zohar brings the Mashal Azayna, that the king, out of great admiration for the prince, he sees the prince as such a special person, so he hires a woman to try to convince him to do an Aveira in order to test the loyalty. So, somewhere there's a lotion that the king is going to pay her more if the kid
If the kid
is
passes,
Aymed bin Isayan. If he doesn't,
She got a bonus.
yeah,
If he passes the test.
right. If she passes the test, so the Nefesh Abam is also. Listen, Zitrach wegen Geld. Someone
No.
told me this joke lately.
But at a certain point, she has to be impartial, so she sends somebody
But
else.
she's also working for the king, so that's her job, is to
No,
make the
no.
king happy.
No, the Zohar explains that at a certain point she has to remain impartial, so she sends somebody else to do the
Right.
mission.
That's the Meister that Mendel Futeva said. He said like a joke that when they left Russia, everyone came to the airport to say goodbye. Also the Yetzer Hara came. He was so happy. Baruch Hashem, we're free from the Yetzer Hara. Then he came to America. There was a welcoming committee.
Two years hers.
So when I grew to Yetzer Hara, he was like 6'10". He was much bigger. He's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, the one in Russia, that was only my agent. This is me alone." Das bin ich, das bin ich. But